Hello, my beautiful Pisces. Welcome back to Intuitive Energies. I hope that you're doing well. Today we're dealing with blocks. The card of grief came out for blocks, and the card Daffodil Fairy for new beginnings. This makes complete sense. Sometimes when we experience something that we have to let go of or walk away from, it does give us some grief. It gives us a moment of sadness and sorrow. It is like the Three of Swords, where you are feeling the loss of something, a heartache, but it also offers you the truth. The truth is the need to move on, and the need to let go of something old to start something new. And this is where this comes in, the new. Okay? So, there's always endings and there's always beginnings. The only thing you can be really sure of is that there will always be change in the world. The point of everything in this life is to acknowledge that the bonds of love never end and that we've never been abandoned. That is the biggest part of even grieving, okay? Even if you've had the loss of someone. If somebody has passed, they have passed to something else. They just may not be in the realm with you right here in the physicality, but they are still here and there is still love. Even the end of a relationship may somehow spell the end of love, they're saying, but it isn't really the end of love itself. Love did exist and will always exist in that part of time where you shared it. And those feelings, well, they can be looked at. A lot of people, after many years have gone by, do look back fondly on relationships. So just to show you that that feeling of love never truly disappears. Even leaving something, a place in time, a location that you're at, it may hurt, it may feel like abandonment, but you can always bring it back in your memories and in your core. That love is always present. I hope that I'm making that clear. And what's really beautiful is that you have to believe that new beginnings are always there for you to bring back hope, especially if you feel like things have not gone the way that you wanted. You are moving forward to get to a point where you are starting something new to get to something better, okay? Life does go on in cycles, okay? Spring follows winter, and this is a new cycle in your life, okay? The plants die in the fall so there can be new birth in the spring. It's always the dance of death and rebirth when it comes. And that's the change that I keep talking about. There's a time to end and begin. And this is the close of one cycle and the beginning of another. That's all. It's just a door that you're passing through. Okay? So, it can be very difficult to release familiar stuff, familiar routines, situation, relationships, when they no longer empower you. But your higher self is always encouraging you not to cling to the old, but to set sail into the new waters. I keep forgetting to do this, Pisces, but I'm just going to do not disturb. There you go. Okay? So, if you find yourself afraid to let go at this point, and you're letting your grief take over, okay? It's better to just let the feelings come through you, let the grief come, let the tears flow if needed, and then let it go, okay? And stretch yourself into the new direction, the one that you've been wanting, the one that brought about all of this, okay? This difficult situation to get you into this new situation. Wholeness within you, it happens when you can say yes to both the ending and the beginning. Okay, as hard as it might be, if you can say yes to the ending and the beginning, you're doing fine. Okay, so let me see here. I'm going to take from Work Your Light, your Pisces. Oh, and I did notice the lights were not bright enough, so I'm going to shift them to make sure that your HD is good. Pleiades. Double mission. Channeling and uplifting humanity. I love this because it's grief, but then you have uplifting. So right away, there's that shift in that energy. Okay? The reason that you're leaving the old stuff behind is that you are no longer... You're not just here to have, you know, a little tiny experience. You're here to have a great big one, okay? You're here to not just live your life. You're also here to show people that they can go for more. They can reach for more. They can, I don't want to say expect, because that's not, it's just be more than who you are. Okay, that's what you're being right now. That's what you're putting forward. You're uplifting. If you see in this card, you know, they're rising above the surface here. They're just going. And you're doing that. You're creating that. You're being more than the sum of your parts. I feel this grief card, this ending, this thing that you're blocking on. This is the... I don't want to say little mind, but it's a little human mind. The stuff that stayed, that made you so stuck for so long. Now you're going for the big stuff. You're becoming the pillar of light, okay? You are becoming so much bigger than yourself. And it's because you are understanding that you are more than just human. You are also spiritual. You're connecting to that part of yourself. And that part of yourself almost now is in place. You cannot undo who you are. You cannot unsee who you are. I was explaining to somebody, I don't know if it was on this channel, but most possibly was on this channel. I was explaining, I was doing spiritual writing. I do that a lot, and sometimes I reread it and think, wow, did I really write that, because I don't recall. But they're saying, I do believe it's like living in a house, and from the outside you look at this house and it's humongous. But when you go in, it's a big house, but you feel that it's smaller somehow from the inside. It's because you're not living, the space you're living in is your human body and the senses that you know. But the outside of the house is made up of so much more. It includes spirituality and humanity and all of that together. And it's okay. You can survive inside the house and the parts of the house that you live in, okay? Spirituality, part of that house that you're not living in, is a foundational room or a foundational floor that's not being utilized right now. But at one point, if you're living in this house and you spot the doorknob to the basement or another room that's very structural to the house, and you open it up and you find a space, I equivalent that to the part that you're not able to never unknow what you know now. So you know that you are spiritual. You can't go back. And that's what's causing this stuff to happen. Because you need to let go of the stuff that is not going to help you move forward in furnishing this new room or living in this new room of the house. that you now know is there. You can never go back in all the rooms that you had and ignore the room that you found. You know that it exists. So this is this new beginning, okay? This is your double mission. The double mission is the new room that you found in your own house. And that's the way it explained it. There's Lemuria, creating heaven on earth, and it's happening. This is what you're doing. You're creating your own place where you are making changes, and you're not accepting the old ways of doing things. Even in my life now, there are things threatening this channel. They're in the distance, but I can hear them, and from where I live, and there's ideas of censorship and stuff. And when the time comes, I know that I'm going to do what I need to continue on this path. So, and I may call on you guys to help me out, to share, because that's the thing. They might, you know, curtail how far this message goes out, and there are always ways to get around that. Instead of thinking of feeling like, oh God, this is going to come down on me, I choose to believe that somehow, some way, they cannot stop me from doing what I want. And I guess, I don't want to call you guys an army, but I have people like you who, through just the simple click of sharing this video, would be able to get it to other parts of the world. Okay, so in other words, they may be able to stop me here, but I already have all of you, and having all of you is my soul tribe, and they have no power with that. They have no power when it comes to that. Okay, they can't stop that. They can't stop this beautiful spiritual way of being. Okay, and the goodwill of people's hearts. They can't do that. They can try to oppress all they want, but they will only get so far. So this is what I'm telling you. Once you start being outside the box, when you know about these different rooms that have opened up in your house, some people are still walking around the same 4 spaces when you now have 6 or 7 spaces, and you know about the structure. It gets to be very different. Okay, so the grief of it and the block is leaving someone behind who's not getting it, because you just can't talk them into it. You can't make them understand. They're just not at that level, and they're only seeing their point of view, and they see nobody else's. Okay, and it's okay. That's okay. They're where they are, getting angry with them and mad and upset with situations out of your control, or seemingly out of your control. There is not much you can do about it. It just makes you go down to their level. So go above. Find a different direction. Let's do it differently than we have before, Pisces. Okay? All right, so let's see. I'm going to take, hold on. I'm feeling the, yes, I want these. The Healing Light Tarot. The reason I want these is because they're cast in darkness, but they show the light. The darker the event, the more the light shines through. And that's what I want you to see here, okay? The darker the grief is, Pisces, the more you're going to see the light, okay? They're showing me a room where you've darkened it, where you're sitting and you're sad. If light shows up in that room, you're going to see it a lot more clearly than if you were already in a lighted room. That is the purpose of darkness. That is the purpose of grief. Okay? Oh, and by the way, if you want to, please go ahead and join my website, because if anything does happen, this is why I've been having you guys join the website. I just found out yesterday about what's going on. However, I've kind of known that that's why I've been asking you guys to join a website, because if anything ever happens, the website is how I would reach you. You have decided to join it of free will, okay? It's my website and you've joined it, and, you know, the emails go out. So if I had any messages letting you know what's going on, you would know, right? So, blocks, right here. Work at removing your own blocks. The things that set yourself free from this. Okay, set yourself free from the grief and the fear and that littleness, that smallness that people around you are constantly trying to make you feel. Governments are very good at it, unfortunately. And they're not seeing every point. It would be great if representatives would take into account everybody's point of view, but that's not always the case. They think their point of view is valid, and they haven't really looked at all the different points of view, because if they had, they'd still be looking. It doesn't... any decision made for an entire country would need years and years of looking at things before making a decision. But a lot of times they say they have, I just don't think they've done the work. And unfortunately, a lot of the people whose decisions are made for them don't get represented correctly, or even at times even asked. Decisions are made for them, which I always found, like I said, you guys know what I think of definitions. People talk about definitions, and like democracy is a word, but we are in anything but a democracy most of the time. We still have people who make decisions, and then we get informed. I find in my country that happens a lot. We get informed of the decisions or the bills or the laws that they've passed, and I was never asked once. And I always thought that's another thing as Pisces. We go, that didn't make any sense at all. I thought, you know, there was going to be a vote. Why don't we ever vote on things? We always vote on people, and they make, you know, decisions for millions. One person makes decisions for millions of people. I don't understand. I never understood. That's not really democracy. So, I don't get up on definitions. People say in our country we have this. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Because it's practice that shows you. It's the way you act. It's the things that you do that defines who you are, not words. Okay? So, unblock yourself from old ways of thinking. Unblock yourself from blaming yourself, from walking away. Like sometimes we blame ourselves, or we feel sad because we had to walk away from something that just no longer fits. And you know that it's causing problems with other people, and this is where we get hung up. This is where we get stuck. Okay? But if you look at these cards, you're actually seeing this person being lifted up. And yes, I'm talking a little bit about my personal experience, because I find that Spirit always brings in things all of a sudden in my life so that I can share with you as well, to give you like an example. It's like it makes it easier for you to comprehend, and less of mistakes or misinterpretations, if you want. That's why I do it, okay? And I've always been very good at it. Hey, see, I gave myself a pat on the back. Okay, so you have here the Two of Cups. It takes a lot of strength, Pisces, to go within yourself and find happiness and peace. Okay, I'll say this much, because you have the Lion here. If it can clear up, you have the Lion and the two people here finding harmony. This is the Lion of Strength. It's funny in this card because it shows up. But to create your harmony, it takes a lot of strength. And you have it in spades. This is inner strength. This is a part of you that says, no, I'm not going to subscribe to your fear-mongering, to your to the news that, you know, something may happen. No. I'm not subscribing to that. And it's a no. I'm going to cast it aside. I'm going to rise above. So whatever this situation implies for you, it's time to, you can grieve if you want, but don't get stuck in that grief, because that's when you're blocked. starts. Instead, choose a new beginning. Choose the new beginning, okay? The springtime, the daffodils, that great things are happening for a reason, and whatever comes, I will deal with it when it comes. If you can do something about it right now, go ahead. That's fine. But if you can't, it's fine, okay? The Four of Pentacles, showing somebody trying to hold the world, or this beautiful heavy particle of light on their back. You have the strength, okay? Only control what you can. This card for me speaks of, the Four is about protecting yourself, okay? And having control. You may not have control about people around you, but you have control over your beautiful light. And this individual is carrying a very big light, a very big particle of light, okay? And you have that strength. You can carry that with you into something bigger. Usually it's like releasing control from me, but in this case it's not. In this case it's holding on to your control. Don't let people steal the happiness that you feel within you, okay? It's like you're going along, and then somebody gives you news that's going, this can derail you, and you're going, okay. Maybe the outward, what's happening here can be derailed a bit, but you can't derail me. Nobody can derail you unless you let them, okay? That's not your mission here. Your mission is to create heaven on earth for yourself. This is what it's saying right here. You're creating what you want. So believe in it and shine. Keep believing in yourself and shine, regardless of what's coming through, regardless of what people are like whispering in your ear, regardless of what's coming through your feed, or, you know, whatever's coming through. Okay? Okay, so as soon as you heal this with the Four of Swords, as soon as you deal with this kind of energy, and you go, okay, I'm not going to let this detract me. You are showing self-confidence. You're showing a strength within yourself that maybe you haven't before. You're not letting yourself be grieved, okay? And it says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So if you lose your control for a second, okay, you lose and you get sad or angry or whatever, then you can say, well, I don't like this feeling. I don't like staying here. I would rather feel better. I would rather feel strong and empowered, and I'm going to pull that back in. I appreciated feeling that good. I appreciated feeling better. You're going to heal that faster, and then you're going to get on that chariot and ride it, okay? You're going to drive that momentum. You're going to go forward, and that's what you really want to be doing, okay? You want that control. You want that control for yourself. And it's by resting and healing and taking good care of yourself. You need to be good to you. You need to be strong for you. You need to take care of you in order to move forward. Okay? And underneath the deck you have the Six of Pentacles, which shows me that this is you being in control of you. You're finding that balance for you. Okay? Not for anybody else. Just for you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Pisces, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from now the Starseed Oracle. I took from the Work Your Light. Let's see what else they have to say here. So remember, this is today, this is your block, or blocks. It could be inside or outside of you. Ultimately, anything outside of you, if it affects your life, it's affecting you inside. So if somebody scares you, the fear you feel is something you feel inside of yourself. Nobody can scare you unless you let them. Honestly. Okay? I would suggest just, I don't know, working on that as well. Empathic starseed. Energetic sovereignty. Absorbing what's not yours. Exactly. Don't absorb. That's suddenly a very hard word. Stop absorbing the energy of the collective. Sometimes, let's say something.